I remember many years ago when I would be in the car driving, every time I would get to a light, all of a sudden, the light would be green, then all of a sudden it would turn red. Like as soon as I'm getting ready to go, it would just turn red. The light would change red. And this kept happening everywhere I go. Every time I get to a light, it would turn red and I would just have to stop. And so the Lord was showing me that there was something in the spiritual realm. There was some type of, blockage put against me to cause me to not go forward. This was something that was happening in the spiritual realm. And a lot of times we don't know about things that are happening in the spiritual realm, but when it's something that's done to us in the spiritual realm, where there's some type of hex or curse put out upon us, or the enemy has done something, put something upon our lives to hinder us, it affects us physically. If it happens first in the spiritual realm, then it affects us physically. So the Lord was showing me this. He was showing me this. So he would allow things to happen in the physical realm. And he was showing me how there had been a blockage on my life because I could never move forward. Every time God would give me all these ideas to do things, and he would put all these desires inside me, but for some reason I could never make progress. And many of you might find yourselves stuck to the point where the devil has put a limitation upon your life, meaning you cannot go forward. The devil has placed a red light in front of you that has hindered you, that has kept you sitting in one place or kept you from moving forward. The devil has set up parameters, whether it be through evil people around you that he has used, people who are probably envious or jealous of you, or they knew the destiny on your life, so they wanted to stop you. Maybe it's a door that you had opened to your life by engaging in certain sins that allow this access to the kingdom of darkness. Because see, when we're not walking in righteousness, when we're not submitted to God, a lot of times that opens the door and the enemy can come in and do what he wants to do to hinder us and stop us. And so if you find yourself, that God has placed desires in your heart. He's given you a purpose. He has put promises here. You've been praying and you have been trying to move forward. You've been working hard on all the things God has told you to do, but for some reason, you are always at a standstill. For some reason, you cannot move forward, or you're always hindered, or you're always having setbacks every time you're ready to reach your breakthrough. This is because the enemy has placed red lights upon you. But I'm here to let you know this is the season now where God is changing all of the red lights. He has heard all the prayers. He has seen all the cries, the fast, and all of the dedication you put in. He has saw your sacrifices that you have made, and God is giving you a green light now. God is giving you a green light, meaning where everywhere where the enemy has put limitations on you, every place where the enemy has stopped you, God is now putting forth his green light, which means that the enemy can no longer stop you. The enemy can no longer hold you back. God is saying now it's time for your time to go now. You can enter into the promise land. You can enter into the rest. You can have the things that I told you to have, the business that he has placed in your heart many years ago. He has placed that desire for that business, and the enemy has stopped it. It has been at a standstill. No matter how hard you work for it, how much effort and sweat and tears you put into it, for some reason it never worked, but it is about to work now. The manifestations are going to come forth now in the physical realm because God is giving you the green light, meaning God is saying now every limitation that your enemies have put upon your life will no longer stand. He is turning every red light into a green light, which means he's giving you the go now. And the enemy will no longer be able to hold you back. The enemy will not be able to stop you because see, we are at a time where God is ready for his people to move forward. He's ready now for his kingdom to be edified and fulfilled. His purpose is supposed to be fulfilled on this earth because too many people who have been led by the enemy have been holding his people back and delaying them for too long, and we're at the time where God is getting his church together because he's getting ready to come back. How many of you know he's getting ready to come back for a church that's without spot or blemish? And he has some things that need to be done. Some breakthroughs need to go forth. Some things that he has placed inside of his people need to come forth now so that he can prepare his church. He can get them ready for his arrival, which is coming soon. So everywhere in your life where there has been a red light, everything that God has had put in your heart and your spirit for you to do, and the enemy has been blocking, the enemy will not be able to block it no more. As long as you continue to walk in God, as long as you continue to keep trusting him, he will give you the favor that every light that is sitting red, as soon as you go for it, it's going to start turning green because God is going to move everything out the way. Whatever is standing in your way to block you or to hinder you is going to part ways, just like that Red Sea. Remember when the Egyptians were pursuing the Israelites, they were trying to get them and they were trying to get away from their enemies. And there was a place when they came to that Red Sea, and they're sitting here and they're wondering, they're looking around like there's nowhere to go, and their enemies are in pursuit of them, and they looking and they have nowhere to go. But all of a sudden, you see, God has something ready. He told Moses to set forth that rod, and Moses stretched out that rod, and guess what? That Red Sea had no choice but to part. That means everything that is standing your way has no choice but to move out of the way. Every mountain is going to come crumbling down. Everything that is standing in the way, every ocean is going to part. Every blockage, every wall fall. It's going to fall. It's going to crumble like the walls of Jericho. Every red light, every standstill, every blockage, every stumbling block, everything that the enemy has put in your way to defeat you and limit you and delay you is going to have no choice but to move, because God is giving you the green light.